I just think like you gotta bet on yourself, man. You have to look at what is possible and you have to just believe that you can do things. It doesn't matter if they're uncomfortable or not, but you have to believe in your heart that you can do things, that you can make things happen for yourself. And once you realize that, the sky's the limit. Gary Cantrell, Bubba the Love Sponge Show. My question is for Jake. On the topic of guys not wanting to fight you, we've interviewed Matt Riddle several times, who says that in his opinion, you're ducking him. How do you respond to that?
I don't know who that is.
Well, it's been about a month now since I've had a job, and if you were wondering what the last month has looked like for me, you have come to the right place. If you saw my last sitting down podcast style video, which is posted right over there, you will have learned basically kind of my vision for what life looks like after full-time employment. I know a lot of people think that I've just got to be downright crazy for not even trying to look for a new job, but I had to really test the waters and see kind of what it could look like if I did not go back to corporate America. And so I had 1 month of experiment with that and actually grinded my ass off all month. And we're going to talk about that here in this video. I just want to share some real time data and kind of what this life may look like in case you were at a full-time job and you got laid off and you really, I don't want to say not had a plan, but you weren't really eager to go back to corporate America. Here's how I've basically been filling up my time. So I know the night after the night of my last day, I went to a concert. I saw Hardy, and I thought I got some really incredible photos. The photos that you're seeing on your screen right now were actually taken with an iPhone. Believe it or not, that is the 15 Pro Max, and I shoot everything, mostly everything, in RAW on the iPhone so that I can, color grade it in Lightroom and, just give it an overall different look. But it was a great concert. It was a great way to kick off what would be a month I will never forget for the rest of my life. Seriously, usually in the beginning of July, my family and I take a vacation down to Charleston, South Carolina for the 4th of July. This year was no different, but there was kind of a different vibe, a different energy about this because I knew there was no rush in getting home because I didn't have vacation time that I had to use up and be back by a certain time. The plan was actually very simple. I was in Charleston for about 10 or 11 days, and then I made plans to go to Tampa to work at Bubba's studio for the week. I wanted to go down there for a week and see what it would be like to work in the studio. And so immediately when I get there, it's Lummy's birthday party. And that was a lot of fun, just seeing a bunch of people that I hadn't seen since January, the party in January. And I was filming the party. I got I think a 2 or 3 minute video that's up on the Bubba Army YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below if you want to check it out, just some of my editing work. And it was just your basic, here's what the party looked like. It was nothing super crazy because we all really at the end of the day just wanted to go and have fun. But this week, while I was in Tampa, essentially I wanted to see, one, what it was like to work in the studio, and two, there was a Jake Paul fight that was happening in Tampa that following weekend on July 20th, and I had reached out to the media contact for the promoter and got press passes for Red and I. Red is the senior video guy at the Bubba show, and I had gotten some passes for him and I because, he's got a camera as well. So we're going to go and get pictures. We're going to go and get video. We want to get all the sights and the sounds of everything going on because we're credentialed for every event. So that is the press conference, that is the weigh-in, that is the public workout. And basically, I had no idea what this week was going to turn out to be for me because in my mind, I'm just going to these events. I'm trying to get content so that we can post it to all the Bubba Army socials, the YouTube, just getting overall content for the show. Thursday is the press conference, and you, as a member of the media, are allowed to go up and ask any fighter a question. Much to my surprise, I thought they were going to basically want to know my question and everything, and they were not screening questions. Not that I was planning to ask anything that was out of line or rude or disrespectful, but basically, they weren't going to get a leg up and find out what I was going to ask and maybe potentially tell me not to ask that or whatever. So anyway, we had Matt Riddle, the former WWE superstar, former UFC fighter, a legitimate all-around badass guy who will pretty much kick anybody's ass. He was on the show back in March of this year, and he was basically talking about how Jake Paul had been ducking him. And so I'm like, as we're thinking, like, what do we want to ask what do we want to ask Jake Paul? Because if you're going to get a chance to ask a question, obviously you're going to talk to the biggest star there. And so simply, I just asked.
On the topic of guys not wanting to fight you, we've interviewed Matt Riddle several times, who says that in his opinion, you're ducking him. How do you respond to that?
I don't know who that is.
And that was kind of a perfect answer. You might ask why, and I'm thinking, like, from a content standpoint, we have clips of Matt Riddle talking about him. Now we have a clip of him saying he doesn't know who that guy is. So it kind of all works out perfectly. And then we find out that Riddle is actually going to be in Tampa the very next morning. And so we have this rare lightning in a bottle type situation where we asked one person a question. The person that they were talking about, who we happened to know, was going to be in town. Now, I'm sure if he wasn't in town and we wanted to get him on the phone for like 15 minutes just to like talk about it, I'm sure that would have been totally fine. But the fact that he was going to be in Tampa, it was like serendipitous that this would happen. And on the week that I was there, so I was able to film Matt. I was standing just behind the normal camera position for that seat in the studio. And basically, it was just kind of this really fun thing where I got to film this guy. We made this news the day before, and then I got to film the guy giving his rebuttal, followed by then getting to edit together a video of Jake Paul and Matt Riddle, and it's a whole, like, it ties everything together. And I'm just like, man, this is so awesome, because you don't get these moments often. It's actually very rare that you get these moments where you can do one thing and then immediately pay it off within a 24-hour period. I mean, that is pure insanity to me that all came together in the way that it did. So Fight Week was really a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, and I just want to say this on video. I tweeted this out and posted it pretty much everywhere, where I was just like, the amount of respect that I have for the members of the media and all the stuff they do, like, because I went to every single event that week at Fight Week, and just to see, like, the grind, you see the same people, the same photographers, the same interviewers, reporters, they're all there. They're all grinding. A lot of the people that I ended up talking to who were fellow Sony gang, these guys were, they were just like websites and stuff that they had started. Some of them worked for bigger outlets. It was just kind of like overall cool to like interact and talk with these people and kind of get a grasp for like what this life is like. I'm not a journalist. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right question, and it all worked out. There are people that have studied for years to be journalists, and that's not me. But it's nice where I've watched so many of these pressers, and I know kind of like how to get to my point, but also I know it's gonna be funny because this is gonna be obviously a long video and it's gonna sound like I'm rambling, but I know how to like get to the point very quickly with these questions and ask it in a way that's respectful, that's not out of bounds, and then just send it and see what happens. And Bubba was really happy. The show got a mention. We got a ton of impressions on all that content. Obviously, the main driver was the Matt Riddle stuff. I got a ton of photos, getting to photograph Jake Paul in the fight with Mike Perry. Pretty awesome. I got a lot of photos. I got Logan Paul, coming away from the ring. I got the Hawk Tua girl, she was there. It was just such a cool vibe to be there, but working. This is the thing that, I've wanted to do for years, and that is just simply be able to go to an event with a professional camera, take photos, put them up on a platform that will be seen by tens of thousands, and in some cases, a couple 100,000 people. So I left Tampa on a high, good time, and I make it back to Charleston because I need to pick up my father-in-law. I need to take him back home. And my cousin had mentioned to me that, hey, Sam Hunt's going to be here this coming Saturday, and the guy that's opening for him is a guy by the name of George Burge, who is a newer on the scene guy, at least new to me. I just found out about the guy 3 months ago. But he's got the song Cowboy Songs, which is really, really good. A lot of catchy stuff from this guy. And I was just what if I could get credentialed to take photos for this concert, But I figure out that there's no website. It's a Live Nation show. Live Nation has a page where you go and you apply for different shows that you may want to shoot. No problem. This show was not listed on that website. So then I DM this guy, Landon. He's George's content guy. He does the videography, photography. And I was like, hey man, this is a Live Nation show, right? Because I'm not seeing it on the website to apply for, and I work for this radio show. He gets back to me and he's like, well, I don't know what's going on with that, but I could probably just get you in. No guarantees, of course, but I could probably do it. And it's at a stadium. It's at a tennis stadium in Charleston, the Credit One Stadium. Here's the thing. In a club, the lens I have, which is a 28-75, would be completely and perfectly fine in that scenario. You're up for 3 songs, you get right up on the stage, take your shot, and you're done. This is a stadium. You need, at minimum, more than 100 millimeters. And what I found out, you need more. So, with no guarantee whatsoever, I rented a lens from lensrentals.com, not sponsored, but I have to say that they were absolutely amazing. They got the lens to me very quickly, but I took a chance because there was zero guarantee whatsoever. I took a chance. I spent $150. That's a big gamble in these times. Your money doesn't go as far as it used to. So here's the deal. I hear back from him on, this would have been, it was either Thursday, the night before, or the morning of, where he's like, yep, you're in, you're good to go. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there's the drama because it's raining and storming literally all day long. And I'm sitting here thinking, a week ago, I was picking up my father-in-law on my way home, going back to Virginia, and the next thing I know, I've got 150 into a lens for credentials that I don't have yet, and then when I do get them, I think it's going to rain. And it rains. But they were not canceling that show. And so what I did was, I took a Walmart bag, I wrapped it around my camera and the lens. Got to protect the lens. It is a rental after all. You got to be prepared. So I've seen various photographers over the years finding different ways to cover up their camera in maybe non-conventional type ways. So that's exactly what I did. And I got to tell you, I got some amazing shots. I mean, look at these things. There's George. And it was cloudy, so the lighting I was not super happy with, but I still think these photos came out pretty awesome. And then, of course, you have Russell Dickerson, who was the middle guy. He's also puts on a really good show. And then there's Sam freaking Hunt. And, he's been a headline guy now for pretty much his entire time after releasing Montevallo. It was cool to see him again. I hadn't seen his show since 2017, in the Body Like a Back Road days. That was the last time I had saw him, and I had 12-year-old kids shoving me down, fat me shoving me down just to get closer to Sam. So it's kind of a relief to not have those same limitations, if you will. So got some great photos, and I just went home with, pretty much like this excitement, this kind of like renewed energy. There's been very few moments where I've been in a bad mood, like at all, in the last month. And I just think it's cool because, there used to be days where I would just wake up sad, depressed, a lot of anxiety, a lot of everything. And I would get up and go to work, and I'd put on a fake smile. People knew. They knew I wasn't happy. But it wasn't even a company thing. It was just like a life thing. Like, here I am. I have this ability to go out and interview Jake Paul. Well, it's one question, but technically, whatever you want to call it. Shooting Sam Hunt concerts. Like, I have the ability to do these things and provide high levels of content. And we have a great team over at the Bubba Radio Network, working closely with Rhett and Lemmy and Seth and everybody, like Macho Man, like just overall, like, and I'm part-time there right now. Honestly, I'm just going to say it on video. Like, I don't care. I'm not telling you stuff that I haven't told people that work there. But obviously, I would love to transition into, a more deeper role, like a full-time type role. We'll see where that goes. I don't know. But for right now, I'm just really enjoying editing videos on a show that I was going to listen to every day anyway. And so that's a lot of fun and very rewarding. And then take that status as an employee there and be able to get into like the big time boxing and different concerts and get content for the show. Every piece of content you throw up, whether it's like a carousel of images, a vertical short form, a video just like this, like everything is an at-bat. You have a really good chance of being seen and heard. You just got to show up. And that's been my problem for the longest time, was that we're just stuck in that planning hell. And it's like, well, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If I get this camera or this whatever, then I can film that. And really, that's not the case at all. And for those of you guys looking for like an actual update on this channel right here, I was just sent an e-bike. It just arrived last week. I'm going to be reviewing that. That's pretty exciting. And it really kind of goes back into what I said, a month or two ago on one of my last videos where I kind of gave like life updates. And that is that I really see myself as somebody that could potentially be part-time with Bubba and doing the YouTube thing. I think that there's a real fighting chance that I can make this whole thing work. It sounds crazy, I know, but I'm crazy enough to think that I can actually make this work. And I mean, I have to. It's do or die. It's either make this work or go back to corporate America doing uninspired stuff that I'd rather not do anyway. The possibilities are literally endless. And worst case scenario, if I don't want to go back to work, like traditional work, I've still got Bubba, and then I can do like Amazon Flex and Uber Eats and shit like that just to make it up. I'm super excited for what is to come. So here's what I'll say. All that was a mouthful, and if you made it this far in the video, what are you doing? Hit subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button, drop a comment, something for the algorithm, you know what I mean? Like something that can potentially help me out by growing the numbers, getting it seen by more people, and then it just allows me to put more time into making videos here. And I'm still going to make videos regardless. I have to now. I have no choice. It's sink or swim, and I ain't planning on sinking, even though I'm a big guy. Big guys, we float. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one.